bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Well, what's up? Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today's Monday, January 23rd, 23 days into the new year, just 342 days left. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planets. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Got a brand new week straight ahead right here on Fade to Black. Great show lined up tonight, as always. Why? Because tonight we have Kelly Sullivan Walden with us, the Dream Goddess. That's right, she's here. We're going to be taking your phone calls too as well. We're going to talk about dreams. One of my favorite subjects. Tomorrow night, the one and only Anthony F. Sanchez is back. And we're going to talk about lost history, ancient religious text, Egypt, and E.T. Oh, yeah, man. That's tomorrow night. Wednesday, Olaf Phillips is here, and we are going to discuss the question, is disclosure dead? Yeah, that's Wednesday night. Thursday night's another Fader night with John Rappaport. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. We're going to open up the phone lines a little bit later tonight. You guys can call in and discuss your dreams with Kelly Sullivan Walden. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple enough. Facebook, YouTube, everything's Fade to Black, JChurch Radio, Jimmy Church, whatever. Follow, like, and subscribe. Go and do it. You can also email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. I do get to as many as I can. I do. Any questions or comments? Hashtag F2BQ on Twitter. And hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Very simple. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have 600, that's a 6 followed by 2 zeros. 600 archive shows. Custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, everything for just $2 a month. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the podcast banner. $2. 600 archive shows, updated daily. That's the best deal ever in the history of mankind. Check out all of our sponsors. Click on their banners over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Use the promo codes for discounts and free shipping. Everything is right there. All right. The first big conference of the season is the Conscious Life Expo. Kelly Sullivan Walden's going to be there. Are you? You should be. February 10th through the 13th at the LAX Hilton right here in Los Angeles, California. Tickets, live stream, all the info you need is over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Click on the banner, go and get her done. If you can't attend, get the live stream. Fade to Black will be streaming. Check that out. It's going to be a great broadcast, too. We'll be broadcasting from the Plaza Ballroom, the big room downstairs. All right? But we would love to see all of you there. Okay? Conscious Life Expo. And then, after that, is Contact in the Desert, May 19th through the 22nd in Joshua Tree, California. Tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com. We will also be broadcasting Fade to Black live on Friday night from Contact in the Desert. I'll be hosting a panel or two at Contact, and I'll also be hosting panels over at the Conscious Life Expo. So come and hang out with us. It's going to be great. All the Fader Knots are going to be there. So you're going to want to come and hang out with us, all right? And I guarantee you there will be a Mike Barra sighting in the bar. Any bar, either conference. There you go. All right. Let's get this show cracking. I'm ready, man. We've got another great week lined up right in front of us. And next week, too. Oh, man, I just cannot believe what we've got going on this show. We just seem to just exceed our own expectations. Got back from the NAMM show. I spent Saturday over at NAMM. And so I want to say hello to everybody that is listening that was at the NAMM show. It was great. And I want to thank Tascam for all that they do. I mean, just an amazing time with everybody over there. And also Neat Microphones. We've got some stuff coming up on the horizon with them, and more on that shortly. And got to hang out with Paul Reed Smith. We posted the picture of that. But Paul, I'm going to say this about Paul. I've known Paul. I used to work for Paul. And I've known Paul for 20 years. Yeah, about 20 years. And so he comes up and he goes, "So Jimmy, this is private. You know what? But I'm just going to say it anyway." He goes, "Man, I've got to talk to you about Area 51. I said, "What?" And we had a conversation. More on this in the weeks ahead. But there is something crazy going on. There you go. Okay. So it was great. And then I met over at NAMM. I want to give a shout out to Gavin Kelly, from Phantasmic Ghost Hunters. He was there and, came up to me, in the Tascam booth and, we shook hands and talked for a minute, and he's got a new show that is going to be premiering here on Amazon Prime. I posted it up on Facebook. You can go check it out. But he's got a very interesting show coming out. And it's not just another Ghost Hunter show. It is that, of course. But he approaches things a little bit differently. And I want to just give a shout out to Gavin. Really cool hanging out with him, too, as well. All right. With that, let's get this show cracking. I'm going to start off with this today. And then I'm going to move on very quickly. The FBI did not raid the CDC in Atlanta today. It's a fake news story circulating right now. Don't buy into it. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on. All right. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mark. He just posted one of the images of Gavin. There's Gavin. There he is with his PGH shirt. Very cool guy. All right. Oh, yeah, there's Paul Reed Smith. Okay. All right, man, enough of that. I'm not going to retweet that stuff. Where am I? Oh, yeah, they didn't raid the CDC in Atlanta, in Hotlanta. All right. So that's it. Moving on. I'm not going to waste breath. Happy birthday to today, the one and only Cheap Trick frontman Robin Zander. Today is 64. Immortalized in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, by the way. Right? You know the scene. On this day in history, 1957, toy company Wham-O produces their first Frisbees. On this day in 1957. Now, William Frisbee opened the Frisbee Pie Company in 1871. Students from nearby universities would throw the empty pie tins to one another, yelling, "Frisbee." And that's how it got started. So there you go, 1957, Wham-O. Man, I wonder how much money Wham-O made off of Frisbees. What was that movie with the hula hoop? Did Wham-O do the hula hoop? What was that? Hudsucker Proxy. Yeah, did Wham-O do the hula hoop? Fader fact. In 1969, a drunk Richard Nixon ordered a nuclear strike on North Korea because North Korea shot down a spy plane. Yeah, it happened in 1969. Henry Kissinger had to intervene. and got old Tricky Dick sobered up, and then made him decide. And, of course, the nuclear... Richard Nixon, I was reading about this today. Richard Nixon walked in many a meeting and said, let's just nuke them. Dude wanted to nuke everybody. He wanted to use tactical nukes. He really had that option on the table, and he talked about it a lot. I looked at so many instances. I mean, I'm talking about documentation, White House documentation. He constantly used the words, let's nuke them. Let's just nuke them. Wow, crazy. Well, today I tweeted POTUS. Yeah, man. I tweeted POTUS today. And, the tweet's out there. You can go check it out. Somebody retweet it, and I'll get it up here. I forget exactly what I said. But I said something like, hey, brah, how about cracking into those CIA files and giving us the truth on UFOs and ET? And so there you go. Tweeted POTUS. And I hid the tweet inside of, I did it on the main feed, and I hid it on a couple of, went and replied to a couple of his tweets. And I also did it to real Donald Trump, too, as well. And I don't expect to have it go anywhere. That's really not the point. But I am sure his staffers probably saw the tweet. And you never know. Maybe someone will bring it up. I don't know. Or even more crazy, maybe Trump, who is a Twitter addict, read the tweet himself or will read it. Either way, I've kind of decided to keep up the heat. All right? I think I'm going to send him a few more, and maybe it'll catch someone's eye. I find it interesting, and I forget who did the tweet originally today, a tweet storm, over at POTUS. And I was like, man, that's a pretty good idea. Maybe I should get in on some of this action. And I'm scrolling back right now. The tweets were done by, who did the tweets? Man, I've already rolled too far back here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, R. Fusco. So he did the tweets. And so I plagiarized. I admit it. I stole the idea. But I think it's a good one. So I'm going to keep up the heat. And let's see what happens. Okay? All right. To that end, lately, I've been having these really cool, vivid dreams about Egypt and UFOs. And probably because we talk about it so often on the show, that obviously has a large part of it. And I study it so much. I mean, that's what I do after the show each night. I jump into all things Egypt every day. And it's usually the last thing I think about before I pass out each night. And on top of that, Rita and I are always engaged every night on an Egypt UFO conversation. Seriously, that's what we do. And so maybe that's a big chunk of it, right? But that's what's been going on in my brain lately, this Egypt ET thing. Well, tonight our guest is Kelly Sullivan Walden, good friend of the show, the dream goddess. And today in the bunker, I was thinking about my recent dreams because, I've got Kelly on the show tonight and what I want to talk about and so forth. Don't worry, I'm here. I had to hit the cough button and hit my River Moon coffee. So I was thinking about my recent dreams and the questions that I would have for her tonight, but it also got me thinking about dreams from the past that I no longer have. And it was easy enough to do because you just sit here and dreams that you remember and those vivid things that you've had throughout your life, you start to, relive these dreams and you're thinking about it. And so I started thinking about those, ones that I used to enjoy or not, but they happen so often, but are no longer part of my sleepy time. Where did they go? Some of them I've talked about on the show, but that got me thinking today. Why don't I have these dreams that used to reoccur all the time? and I was able to jumpstart them and I don't have them anymore. And so I kind of, wrote some of them down. And the first dream that I remember that I had all the time started when I was 5 years old. We lived on an Army base in Fort Sheridan, just north of Chicago. And the dream was, a simple one, but vivid, man. And I can remember all of the details today. I had it so often. And it was me flying above the playground we had behind our quarters on the Army base. And it wasn't really flying like I was flying around like a bird and moving. It was more like floating, flying. And I did flap my arms, by the way, to stay up. If I started to come down a little bit, I would flap my arms and panic and then get back up to to where I was. But I was stuck up there. And what I couldn't do is I couldn't come down if I wanted to come down. I was stuck above the playground. And I would stay up there, which seemed like all afternoon, watching my family, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, playing in this sandbox that was right in the middle of this playground and trying to get their attention. I'm up here. Look at me. Look at me. It was that kind of dream. And I'm sure that you have had similar dreams. I don't think I'm unique here, but I had this dream all the time. When I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I had this dream constantly, and I remember all of it, all of the details to this day. It was like the only dream I had forever. But it ended. I don't have that dream anymore. I can still see it perfectly today, though. I really can, but I don't have that dream. Another dream that ended, that I just don't have anymore, was one where I was with a group of friends. I'm a teenager, by the way, like 15, trying to walk up a flight of stairs. And it's dark. And a couple of 100 feet above us, we could see the light from the top of the stairs. It's a long, dark tunnel, and you could see the light at the top. And it's a dark, concrete, bunker-like tunnel thing. And these little pebbles would start falling from above, and you can hear them, coming down the stairs. And as they bounced down the stairs, they increased in speed. And by the time they got to us, they were like bullets, pew, pew, shooting past us, deadly, right? Keeping us from making progress up the stairs. Now, we never made it to the top, by the way. And this dream would just last and it was scary. It was a scary, dark dream. I don't know what it meant, but I used to have this dream all the time. I don't have it anymore. It just ended. So I don't know what that means, and I don't know if I've overcome something, just like the flying dream when I was a kid. Did I overcome something? Did I work through something? I don't know. I just don't have those dreams anymore. The stairs dream, which was terrifying to me, and there was something evil at the top of the stairs, too. There was like an evil presence, something that we couldn't see, but something that was instigating this throwing of these pebbles down the stairs. But I don't have the dream anymore. Another one, more modern in the timeline of my life, one that I've had a lot as an adult, was me going back to Panama. I haven't talked about this before on the air. Me going back to Panama to our old quarters on Fort Amador down there. And I would get there. Now, remember, Panama now is the United States gave up the Canal Zone, and the Panamanian government, the Panamanian people now occupy the Canal Zone. And that Army base that we lived on, Fort Amador, is now Panamanian territory. It used to be United States, right? Okay. So, but I get down there and I sneak on the Army base and I get up to our quarters and I get into the house and all of our furniture is there from when I was a kid. And this dream is this. This is what the dream is. I stay there for like months in this house, in our old house. And and I don't get caught. You know, the electricity is on, and there's this drama that's driving this in the background. But I don't get caught, and I stay there. I'm avoiding the Panamanian police. I'm alone. My parents are not there. No friends. And this dream is me spending my time looking for people, walking around, you know, but it's a very distorted version of reality. Going back to my high school or, you know, and I'm trying to find friends that I never find. But it's this alternate universe kind of look to this dream. Kind of like that video game Silent Hill, by the way. That's what it's like. It's like distorted and funky and scary. But I no longer have this dream. It's just stopped. And I don't know what it is, what I have resolved here, but I don't have this dream anymore. And it was, you know, it wasn't a fun dream. It wasn't like that. And it was kind of scary and dark, but I don't have it anymore. Which brings me to today. I didn't put every single dream that I've ever had here, but these are the ones that I thought about today. So I just kind of recalled them, and they kind of freak me out too when I think about it, right? But today, my current crazy dream that I cannot stop has a few versions, right? And I've talked about this before, that I can stop and start dreams and wake up and so forth. More on that in a minute. But the dreams that I have today come in a few versions. And version 1 is Rita and I arrive at a pier, you know, at the ocean. And there is a long line of people waiting to board this pretty cool, modern, medium-sized ship. And it's bronze in color, this boat. And we get on board without tickets or anything. We like sneak our way on or talk our way on to the boat. And the boat goes through this. We pull out. We do this whole thing. We go to our cabin and check in and stuff. And in the boat, there's other things to this. But anyway, the boat goes through this hellacious long trip. Heavy seas, big waves, and it just goes on forever. But we go to a secret land. I have this dream all the time. This secret land, and it kind of feels like India or something. You know, but it's like a land that, a secret country is the way I can kind of explain it. And where we dock at this secret land. And we go on this journey up into the mountains with a large group of people to this other world, this secret world. And we visit this world. And then we turn around and go back down the mountain. And the secret world, man, I can't really explain it, but there's like an ET element to it there. Like it's an alien thing. But the army, and that's the thing, the security forces here are of Earth, and they don't look like a foreign government like you've seen. It's just bizarro, man. It's a bizarro thing. And I have this dream all the time. We get on this boat, we go, and we hike up this, and when we dock the boat and we get off the boat, there are these like 50-yard wide stone stairs that are really wide, and it's just, 50 miles long, just going right up the side of the, and that's what we do. We walk up these stairs and visit people, and there's houses and things, and it's just bizarre. Version 2 of this dream, Rita and I go to LAX. Listen to this. I have this dream all the time, too. It's really fun. Rita and I go to LAX. We purchase tickets to South America. We get on a plane with no passports. We evade security. We don't have passports, but we've only got plane tickets. But we talk our way in and out of things and get on the plane, and we just go, right? And we always go to Argentina, Peru, and Chile. We never, no Brazil, no Colombia, Venezuela, or any other countries. Nothing like that. It's always Argentina, Peru, and Chile. And we are down there finding secret, crazy, megalithic stuff, dark, secret stuff, and we're evading the police and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then sneaking back onto the plane, trying to get back to Los Angeles without passports. Yeah. It's this crazy, and I mean, I can have this dream tonight after the show if I wanted. Version 3 are variations of, and I had this dream this week, are variations of Rita and I trying to get through a show. But the show is not here in the bunker. It's something remote, like we're doing something outside, or we're doing something at a big place, or another city, something remote and away from the bunker. Or it involves us trying to get through some crazy television thing, like getting interviewed by just crazy. But the shows never happen, right? The interview never happens, or this remote thing never happens, or this thing, or something is always preventing it from getting us done. And it's strange, isn't it? And I have that same application in so many different dreams, trying to play guitar, but I never get to a guitar, or I try to do, and it never, try to jump in the car and go somewhere, and we never get there. The car doesn't start, or whatever. Things never complete. Do you have these same types of dreams? But what I never do today, and this is what I want to talk to Kelly about tonight, I never go back to the old stuff. I never go back to the dreams that I used to have, those vivid dreams I used to have constantly. Maybe I should try again, by the way, but I'm stuck with my current dream inventory. I can't get out of that. I really can't explain it. I'm not complaining. It's just the way it is. But this past year, it's all been Egypt and E.T., and I can't wait to talk to Kelly about it tonight. But of all the other dreams that I used to have, it's bizarre. They've just stopped. I can recall them. I see them. I just don't have them. What do you dream about? Are they vivid? Do you remember your dreams? What do your dreams mean? Well, tonight you're going to have that chance. You're going to be able to talk to Kelly Sullivan Walden herself, and we are going to take calls a little bit later on tonight. My guest tonight is Kelly Sullivan Walden. Tomorrow night, Anthony F. Sanchez. Wednesday night, Olaf Phillips. Thursday night is another Fader night with John Rappaport. The call-in number tonight, as in all nights, is 323-825-5045. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Short break. When I come back, Kelly Sullivan Walden. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tepe.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple. Follow Kelly at Kelly S. Walden. The S is there to separate her from all the other Kelly Waldens, the fakers. Kelly S. Walden on Twitter. All right. Been excited about this show. Kelly Sullivan Walden is on a mission to awaken the world to the power of dreams. She is the author of the best-selling books Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions, I Had the Strangest Dream, It's All in Your Dreams, Dreaming Heaven, Dream Oracle Cards, Discover Your Inner Goddess Queen, and Goddess Queen of Pearls of Wisdom Journal. She is jokingly called the Lovechild of Carl Jung and Lucille Ball, and has reached millions of people with her fun and illuminating message on national talk shows, of course, like Dr. Oz, Ricki Lake, The Real, Bethenny, Huffington Post, Live, Coast to Coast, Playboy Radio, Jenny McCarthy Radio, Fox News, and, of course, is one of our favorite guests right here on Fade to Black. Her latest book is The Love, Sex, and Relationship Dream Dictionary, and her website is KellySullivanWalden.com, and I'd like to welcome back Kelly Sullivan. Kelly, welcome.
Wow.
I know,
it's
right?
So nice to be with you, Jimmy Church, back on Fade to Black.
Hey,
I feel like I'm going into the light.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And what's really cool is you, Dana, myself, and Rita get to hang out in a couple of weeks over at the Conscious Lake. I cannot believe a year has gone by since the last conference.
That was a blink. I mean, a lot has happened in the last year, but that, I know, I don't know. I mean, we're in a time warp or something. It's very bizarre. It was like it was a week ago.
You know what's really funny? Last February, after everything that we went through in the United States, last February, we were all still innocent, right?
We were just little babes in the woods.
Yeah, we had no idea what was on the horizon with 2016. We didn't have a clue. So
you got to play the Eagles, The End of Innocence, after this break.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. And I just might do that. I want to start off here with you tonight. Your childhood nickname. Smelly Kelly with a big belly full of jelly.
Wait Wait a minute. Where'd you find that? That's somewhere on my... Kelly Smelly with a big belly full of jelly.
Yeah, kids, okay, and I get it. Me, what was really weird? My nickname when I was growing up, now I was an Army brat, so every couple of years, I'm in a new city or a new country, right? Wow. And so, but Churchy Bird. Oh. Now, it means, right. It means nothing, right?
Oh, that's hysterical.
But why would kids be able to dial in on that from city to city and school to school? I mean, all the way till...
Really?
Yeah, Churchy Bird. Okay, so tell me about Smelly Kelly with a big belly full of jelly.
No, the weirdest thing, I think my grandpa was he was really kooky and he was really funny. He had a really odd sense of humor, but he was always making up funny nicknames and funny limericks. There once was a girl named Kelly who ate a whole bottle of jelly and then her belly was blah, blah, blah. And then she went to Helly. Ha ha. I mean, he would do these funny things. But I took it as love. And so my mom would make fun of my feet I was telling her the other day, because I have big feet. I have size 10 feet. I've had them since I was 10 years old. And my mom would make stories up about my feet and how it would take me 2 steps to get from here across the continent. And I think I took jokes about me as love. So I've grown up, and when people say things to me, whether they mean it in a kind way or not, I'm not offended. I like it. It's strange. I mean, I feel like it's sad when people don't have some weird nickname.
Okay, one more thing about your childhood. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm trying to embarrass you. That one didn't work. I'm going to go to the next one.
Smelly. You could just call me Smelly.
Okay,
for sure.
I would never dare. Your first love. Who was your first love?
Oh, you are good, Jimmy Church. You're doing some good research.
Yeah,
my very first love was Elvis, and I swear to God, I thought I was going to marry him. And when I found out he was married to Priscilla, it was the first time I ever experienced jealousy.
Right.
I'm like, she has my boyfriend, my husband, and I somehow manipulated my mom and grandpa and everyone into buying me every album of Elvis's, and I would listen to them and bounce on the bed and rock out. And Elvis was my dude. He was my man.
Still, he's my man. Yeah, no question about it. All right,
yeah.
And now, okay, what period Elvis does it for you? I'm torn between two, which is the Elvis Las Vegas comeback special in the black leather, jacket and black leather pants. That was a good look, and he had his magic was really strong right then. But then I liked the Aloha from Hawaii via satellite Elvis, with the white jumpsuit and the.
Oh my God! You can have scarf. Both of those versions of Elvis, and I'll take the earlier innocent ones. I loved him when he was a young pup, when he was just before he got all heavy and drugged out, and
right.
And I loved him when he was just
Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah,
right?
I liked him more when he was just kind of just starting out. I don't know. Those are, but I'll take him. You know what? I love him any way you slice him.
Right.
Even though my preference is when he wasn't completely sweating profusely all over the place, honestly.
Here in California, there's a guy that does an Elvis impersonation show out in Thousand Oaks every year at the Arts. I forget what they call it out there. And he's really good, and they do a full orchestra. Wow. And I went out there, and I saw it 15 years ago. And I go out there, and I'm like, I started to lose myself into this show.
Wow.
And he's and I'm getting sucked in because he looks like Elvis, I mean, kind of, but his voice is right on, right? It's spot on. He's got this full orchestra. But anyway, he's throwing the scarves out, right? Right? And I'm like, man, I'm going to get me a scarf. I'm like, I gotta grab hold of myself here. I can't be up there trying to fight one of these ladies for one of these scarves, but damn it, I want one.
Oh, that's hysterical.
So I got one.
God.
That's
I mean,
another
what a spirit that his legend has lived on, and so many people have kind of just channel him and and so he's still alive. He's the king.
Well, and this is why I bring this up. I'm bringing both of these up for a reason. There's a reason.
A method to the madness.
Yes, there is. How has this outlook on life from your childhood like this with a great family and a great grandfather and Elvis turned you into who you are today?
Oh, wow. God, you're asking. That's so cool, Jimmy, because I've done a bunch of interviews and none of them have been like this. So this is awesome. This is like a whole new playground. I love you.
It's my job.
It's your job. You're very good at it. You're very, very good at it. I think I was just, my father was actually very religious and very, very Catholic. He was going to be a priest. But what I love about my dad is that he never, even though I grew up Catholic and I went through all the things that Catholics do, communion and catechism and blah, 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 but he never shamed me for wanting to explore all the different spiritual traditions and paths that I did. And so there was still this love. And so I feel like I had this wild side of the family. The Irish side of my family was always very partying and full of joy and laughter and dancing. And I feel like there's a wild side of me that knows it's okay to be completely silly, completely goofy. And my Aunt Peggy was the one that taught me how to dance. She said, dancing isn't dancing unless your arms are in the air. So whenever you'd hear Elvis come on, my arms would be in the air and I'd just be like, I don't know, rock it out. So there's something I think about it's like the little kid in me hasn't gone away, and I'm grateful for that. I think there's just a wildness that it's okay. I feel like there's been permission to feel and to find my own weird and bizarre way, and that it's all okay. That doesn't mean that I didn't have my bumps along the way and that I didn't have moments of complete self-doubt and existential crises, because I did. But in the background, there was a sense of it's all okay, and music and dancing and laughter should always be a part of life. And it is. And no matter what. So even during funky elections that don't go the way I want them to, you just turn on the music and rock out, and it's all going to be okay.
Well, exactly. And if you let go of that doesn't that technically mean you're now an adult? Right. Ooh. And you don't want to do that.
That's a bad word.
Right.
I think we can be somewhat mature without having to ever lose the wildness, the kid. And I, for some reason, dreams and the work that I do with dreams there's a playful quality to it, and there's a poetic quality to it. And it is about suspending your disbelief and suspending your logic and going into that magical realm and allowing it to speak to you. So I feel like, your question here, it's taking me down a different path in my own brain, looking at my life from that perspective. I think there is definitely a correlation between dancing and fun and Elvis and being able to play symbolically in the sandbox of dreams. So I don't exactly know how those dots connect, but I'm sure that they do.
Well, they have to. Yeah. And for myself, when I talk to other people about dreams, which it's one of my favorite subjects, and I love dreaming. I look forward to going to bed. I look and I do what I can to color my dreams, like play something in the background, something scary, something adventurous, something funny. To help me guide, because I enjoy it. It's like an e-ticket at Disneyland. But when I talk to other people about this, they don't. Some, and it surprises me when they say, I don't care. I don't remember my dreams. Whatever. I just sleep. What is wrong with that picture?
It's not that it's wrong. It's just normal. It's just that it's ordinary. And if you're in the game of being ordinary, then that's totally fine. But if you're in the game of being extraordinary and wanting to explore the other dimensions of your being, the other mansions within your being, then you go out of your way to pay attention to dreams. So I think the average person, and this is true for me too, if I don't go out of my way to remember dreams, often if something happens and I have to jump out of bed too quick, the dreams are gone. They're not easy to remember for most people. There are the strange and very special people that don't have to work hard at all to get their dreams, and they just come to them in full technicolor and they're there. But for people that do have to work at it, if they don't work at it and they're not in the habit of remembering their dreams, and it's just way too easy to get caught up in all the things that beep and bling and call our attention in our waking lives. It's so easy to neglect our still small voice for the big, loud, booming voice on television or on social media. And so it's symbolic. And I think if we were wise, we would take a few minutes to pay attention to our dreams, because even if it doesn't make sense to our logical mind, it pays off in dividends in so many ways. But it's a subtle practice, and it doesn't necessarily make sense to the part of you that's logical. So if a person's logical, I don't blame them for not paying attention to their dreams, because it won't make sense immediately. But if you're open to suspend that disbelief, then you're in for a world of magic, and actually a lot of practical good too, because dreams can help you stay alive and survive better and make money and be more creative. And there's all kinds of practical benefits as well.
If somebody's having a hard time dreaming, or maybe they don't think that they dream, but they want to, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, those are the people that I love to talk to. And really, it's kind of like if you're in the conversation about red cars, you're going to start seeing red cars. If you are in the conversation about aliens, you're going to start noticing weird, trippy aliens everywhere. If you start talking about dreams, if you start developing a passion about it, if you start sharing about it with somebody, or even reading a book about it. I mean, I tell people, and it's not a shameless plug, but if you read a book about dreams, and it could be mine, it can be Carl Jung's, it can be anybody's, if you read it before going to sleep, it's going to pique your curiosity, and it's going to get you thinking about dreams, which will give you an advantage toward remembering them. But you have to make sure the real key to remembering dreams is how you wake up. So there are all kinds of ways that you can incubate dreams and things that you can do before you go to bed, but that's not as important as the way you wake up. And if you can wake up slowly in the morning, even if you have to have an alarm clock, if you can set it for 15 minutes before you actually have to wake up, so that you can snooze a couple of times before you have to get up, then with your focus in those early morning moments on, what was I just dreaming about? Instead of thinking about anything else, all the things you have to do that day, forget about it. Just focus in those early morning moments just on the question, what was I just dreaming about? And then go write it down in a journal or on an app or whatever you do, but have your first things that you do in the morning be focused on dreams. And then you will start to remember them. It will happen. And even if you can't remember a dream, then just start writing something down. Write down your first thoughts upon awakening. If there's a song in your mind, or if you're thinking about the first love that you had back in high school, or whatever the thought is on your mind, even if it wasn't what you were dreaming about, just write something down when you first wake up with the intent that at some point it's going to be a dream that you will write down.
What about dreams? What recurring dreams? Dreams that happen over and over again. Is this common, and what does that mean when this happens?
So on one level, we humans are habit makers, and we all have a cast of characters that we do cycle through in our dreams. So we all have our playlist. We all have a handful of places that are our go-to places: our childhood home, our school, a place of employment, a certain vacation that we went to. So we're all going to have certain locations and certain people that do tend to recur. However, recurring dreams that have a strong emotional content to me, I call those the cosmic highlighter pen coming down and drawing a circle around something and telling you, pay attention. This is important. Don't let this go. Something is trying to be communicated to you. And it may, if you pay attention, truly change your life. So I think of a recurring dream in short as being important. The longer you've had it, the more of them you have, the stronger importance. And it could be also that you're just not getting the message, and it has to keep coming back until you get the blessing or the message, or you change whatever the pattern it is that's trying to get you to change, and then it'll stop, and then you get a new series of dreams.
And why? I was talking to a friend of mine about 5 years ago, and he had come up to me and said, you were in my dream last night. And we were trying to, well, that part of it doesn't matter. What matters, what he had said to me was that I wanted to show you this thing on the guitar. And every time I would start to play for you, a string would break on the guitar and I'd have to restring it or something, and I never got to play for you. And as he said this to me, I had the same types of dreams where they never resolve. There's something you want to cross the street, a bus passes in front of you, or a bird hits you in the head, and you never make it across the street, or whatever it is. They don't resolve. What's going on there? Why don't dreams resolve?
Oh, well, sometimes they do. And then when you do, you usually get a reward in the dream. So it's like we're always on this continuum. We're always growing from glory to greater glory to greater glory. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. But we're grappling with these things. I mean, it's like the challenges that we have in our lives, in our waking lives, are an outer reflection of what we're working on inside. So this dream, and if it's recurring and it's frustrating, it just means that you're still trying to grapple with it. But I would dare to venture that every time you have that dream, or every time your friend has that dream, he gets a little bit better and a little bit closer. It's never just exactly the same Groundhog's Day. Remember that movie with Bill Murray, Groundhog's Day?
Sure.
So if you think about that, it was incredibly repetitive. However, every time he started the day over again, he did something a little bit different. He got a little bit wiser, a little bit brighter. He tried a little something different. And every time he kept making these baby steps in the right direction until finally the payoff at the end of the movie is that he completely gets it right. And then he doesn't. And then he wakes up and it's the next day. And it's exactly, I get the chills on that because that's exactly how our recurring dreams are. They might seem like we're not making progress, but I guarantee there is progress being made. And it's helpful to analyze a dream like this because it can expedite the process of moving that dream towards satisfaction or towards that learning. Because you can think about, well, what am I trying to resolve? Why is this friend wanting to play this song for you on his guitar, and why does the guitar break? And so what do you represent to him? If it's his dream, this is more about him than it is about you, although sometimes we do dream for other people, but more often than not, the dream that anyone has is about them, and you are a character in his dream. So that means that you represent an aspect of him. You are a popular radio personality. So you're a master of your craft. Is he trying to become a master of his craft? Is he trying to be recognized by a part of him that might be judgmental or might be holding him to a high standard and he hasn't quite gotten there yet?
Right.
Or so it's him grappling with aspects of himself, and by identifying it, it can definitely move and quicken the process towards resolution.
Man, I've got so many questions that have popped in here. I can already see what these phone calls are going to be like tonight. Okay, we're going to head towards a break, so we'll do this question first. This is from Nancy. She says, what does it mean when you close your eyes and start dreaming, but you still feel awake?
This is the hypnagogic, or they call it hypnagogic stage. And this is a stage that is truly right when you're on the threshold between sleep and awake. And this is a magical time. It's wonderful when people can be aware of this, because it's right where the portal between worlds opens. And it's really not much different between, as the portal between being awake and being alive and being on the other side, being in and out of a body. It's like there is this threshold between worlds. And when you're there, often there's like this hallucinating kind of a thing. We start to see things and it's pretty trippy. It's hallucinogenic. But if we practice asking questions during that time, or practice setting an intention during that time, it's like prime real estate. It's really potent. And more like a better metaphor is like it's really rich soil. We can plant any seed we want during that time. So if a person, Nancy, has this regularly, she should have a series of affirmations that she says to herself during that time, like, I am incredibly healthy and wealthy, and the love of my life is looking for me now, or like something, whatever it is that she's working on, she should affirm it and see it and visualize it during that time, so that her subconscious mind can help her kind of whoosh into that direction. And it's a great manifesting space to be in, among many other things.
What if your dreams just don't make any sense?
Then that's a good thing. Our dreams should be strange. I tell people that it's strange not to have a strange dream. Our dreams speak the language of symbol. And it only doesn't make sense to the part of our mind that is our logical mind, that we come back to when we wake up. So when we're in our dream, we're connected to our emotions, to our limbic brain, to the part of us that it's our association cortex. And when we're in that mode, our dreams make perfect sense. It's like, it's like the similes and the metaphors that we use. Like when a door opens, a window, what is it? When a door closes, a window opens, or when pigs fly, or it's like these funny metaphors. When we're in that stream of consciousness, it all makes sense. So it's only the ego or the logical mind that looks at that and says, well, that's just a bunch of rubbish. It doesn't make any sense. But it's two different sides of our own consciousness. So if we just get a little bit in a more of a meditative state, or let ourselves journal about it, like, well, what could that mean if a door closes and a window opens? Oh, maybe the opportunity I thought I was supposed to have isn't happening, but there's something else. It's just a little bit off to the side and it's a little different, but it's still good. So just let yourself journal and get creative, and you can answer your own questions. And if that doesn't work, this is why I wrote dream dictionaries, so that people can at least start on a cursory level to look up what the symbols mean and to start thinking symbolically.
Let's take a break right here. And I'm going to say one thing about journals. Guys don't do journals. That's a girl thing. Guys don't do that. They don't open up, not even to themselves.
Oh, we're going to change all of that.
When we come back, more with Kelly Sullivan Walden, the Dream Goddess. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And you can follow Kelly at Kelly S. Walden. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much
that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This portion of Fade to Black is brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. It's dark, complex, and smoky. Just go to River Moon Coffee. The banner is right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo code F2B blend, and you will get 15% off of your order. Our guest tonight, Kelly Sullivan Walden, the Dream Goddess. She is on a mission to awaken the world to the power of dreams. Now, Kelly, I'm going to go here. I'm going to do a little relationship stuff. Let's say somebody, doesn't matter, what sex, but somebody is having dreams about a past love or maybe even just a dream or somebody that they wanted, but they're having these dreams. And then they act on that. And they wake up and they file for divorce or break up with, and is that really a good thing to do, to act on your dreams?
No, not necessarily, and not right away. I mean, because I know both sides of this equation personally and also professionally with clients. And I would say most of the time, the best way to work with dreams is to have some kind of a meditative process. So you were saying before the break, men don't journal. So that's fine. You don't have to journal. Although I know there are some guys out there because I've known them, but it's all, you just get a cool looking journal. It doesn't have to be all frilly and foofy. Get a really dude looking journal. So it's macho, but writing is a good way. But you take your dream and maybe talk about it or meditate on it and ask yourself, how might this be symbolic of something in your life? And look at it first symbolically. You can look at it like it's actual, like it's a literal something, but consider that it is symbolic. So for example, if you dream that somebody's cheating on you, ask yourself, where might I be cheating on myself? Or where am I cheating myself out of more time with that person? Or find out where you're maybe not giving yourself credit or not being good to yourself. If you leave somebody in a dream, Consider that you're wanting to leave a pattern that is showing up regarding the person that you're with. I mean, long-term relationships or deep, intimate relationships, we shouldn't be cavalier about getting into them or getting out of them. I have been impulsive in the past, and I don't regret it, because I feel like sometimes when it's really strong and really, really clear and you know yourself well enough, then go ahead and make those really bold moves before you've meditated on it for 1,000 years. But for the most part, I'd say consider it. Be mindful of those things. I mean, I write about in the beginning of Chicken Soup for the Soul, the different dreams that I had that were relationship kind of dreams. I was with a guy that I thought I was going to get married to potentially, and I dreamt that I was married to him and we were in the future, and I was a zombie and I was dead basically. And we had the perfect like white picket fence, perfect everything, except I was dead. And I looked at him when I woke up and I realized, oh my God, he's perfect. Externally, he's got all the right things, but we don't have that soul connection. I got to get out of here. And I did. I broke up with him that day, and I don't regret it. And
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know?
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But then,
right.
When it comes to my husband, he was just a friend of mine. He was somebody that I was working with, and everything about him, he's a handsome man, but he's a lot older than I am. And there was nothing about him that I thought was my ideal guy, because he had already been married. He had kids. There was there was all kinds of reasons on paper that he wasn't the perfect guy for me. And yet I had this very strange, I'm not going to go into it now unless you want me to later, but it's a very strange dream about him. He turns into a pig and a dragonfly, and I love him so much. And I wake up and I know, oh my God, Dana's my guy. My soul was so alive with his soul in my dream. And even though we were just friends in our waking life, I knew he was my guy because of that dream. And it took a while for it to play out, but I was right.
Right.
So
there's a good nickname in there for Dana now.
Dragonfly pig.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it. There's something there. I'm gonna get to it. There's something there.
I write about it in detail in Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions. I don't know if you want me to tell the whole story now, but it's juicy and it made a difference, and I did act on it. Most people, I do say though, sit with it, meditate on it, look at what it represents about you, and then carefully consider any action that you do take.
This is from John. Is there a legal substance that we can take to improve lucid dreaming?
Vitamin B6 in particular is supposed to be great for that. I haven't necessarily noticed a huge difference in myself when I do that, but some people do. And some people, there's different kinds of tea that you can take. There's, and I know that anything that helps you to sleep better or stimulate your visual cortex is good for that. Vitamin B6 is probably the easiest, over-the-counter substance that you can get. Mm-hmm. And it will stimulate your dreams. People have really trippy dreams when they smoke pot, when they drink. However, they're not easy to catch because they're fleeting, and it's more like your brain is just kind of trying to catch up with all the stimulation that's on it. It's better to not, if you're going to use something, then just feel and experiment how vitamins work with you, because you don't want to get addicted to a substance that's ultimately gonna not be good for you in the end.
Right. What about food? People talk about, spicy food will kick things off. And what about food?
Well, if you think about it, anything that you put into your body is going to affect your dreams. What happens, externally to us is going to affect our internal state. So alcohol, food, having a heavy meal before you go to sleep is going to definitely affect your dreams, but it's not necessarily in the best way. There's a book called The Kin of Ata Are Waiting, and it's a fictional book, but it's about the person who wrote it researched dreaming tribes all over the world. And the people in this book, they they're very meticulous about the way that they live and the way that they eat and the way that they sleep, so that it's like they do everything in their waking lives in order to have optimum dreaming. So there are so many things that you can do to stimulate your dreams. I mean, if you drink NyQuil, if you get sick, I just got over a cold and I broke down and had to take NyQuil, and whoa.
Yeah, NyQuil's a good dream.
Yeah, but it's hard to remember them.
It is, but it's
but they're not necessarily, it's like, to me, I want to be able to do what I can do in my waking life so that I have the best and strongest dreams possible that move me forward.
Right.
Not just mess me up like I'm a petri dish.
Right.
And because, we want to have dreams that ultimately serve us, that give us practical guidance in our waking lives, or give us an edge on what decisions to make, or what creative projects to get involved in, or what's going to help us. So we want to be the clearest channel that we can possibly be. So ideally, we wouldn't eat a heavy meal right before we go to sleep. We would have at least 3 or 4 hours before going to sleep after we've had our last meal. And in fact, there's like a whole study about people that do lose weight while they sleep, that are focusing on weight loss, and it helps to not eat right before you go to sleep. But also you can incubate dreams on weight loss. And I know a lot of people at the beginning of the new year are wanting to lose weight because of all the pounds that everybody gained over the holidays. So you can incubate dreams about weight loss anyway. But food and alcohol and anything that you put in your body will affect your dreams. But ideally, you want to eat food that is not that heavy and that's going to give you enough fuel to make it through the night, so you don't have low blood sugar drops. If you need to eat right before you go to sleep because you're really hungry, then have just solid protein, peanut butter or a glass of milk or almonds or something like that. That's not going to completely whack out your blood sugar. If your blood sugar spikes because you're having a piece of cake in the middle of the night, your dreams are going to be like a roller coaster ride.
Now, what about if you are having vivid dreams about the past and even the far past, right?
Yeah.
Ancient history. Is that you recalling a past life? Is that you just having a vivid, crazy, fun dream? Or is it something else externally possibly channeling into you and showing you something from the past?
So you're talking about not inside this lifetime. You're talking about like another lifetime.
Yeah, I'm dreaming that I'm Cleopatra.
Right. No, this happens. I mean, there's so many. I know a woman who kept having dreams about ancient Egypt, and she ended up Sorkin. What's the guy's name who wrote all those books? You probably know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
And he ended up meeting with her. He heard about these dreams that she was having. He put her under hypnosis so that she could go and go into the place that she had been dreaming about. And she channeled I don't know how to pronounce it. Hatshepsut. It was a female pharaoh.
Yes.
And she actually helped him because he knew a lot about her, but she filled in a lot of the blanks that even historians didn't know about her because of what she had been dreaming about and what she found via hypnosis that was connected to the dreams that she was having. So it happens, and I know this woman, and I know she's credible. I know she's not a crackpot. This is a phenomenon. And when she went back to Egypt, and she goes there a lot now, there were some people that just fell on the ground and just knew that she was like, they just started worshiping her when she would just walk down the street because they knew that she was like the reincarnation of this pharaoh, this female pharaoh. So anyway, there was a story that it was in the Chicago Times. I can't remember exactly. It was probably 10, 15 years ago about a little boy.
Oh, yes.
Who was dreaming about a ship in the Navy.
Right.
Yeah, and he described in detail a ship that had gone down that he had never in his waking life had any access to whatsoever, had never read a history book or a text, or he had no way of knowing. And they found out that all that he was seeing, it was an actual ship that had gone down, that had been in the war, and he was seeing details of things that were there, and then seeing things that were even beyond what people knew. So
and his story, which I have notes of it here, I researched it quite a bit. His story, he was a pilot and a fighter pilot on an aircraft carrier. But what was crazy about the story at that age, he was like 4, was he named names, right? Co-pilots, friends, the captain of the boat, and told his dad about it, and he turns around, his dad's doing research and finds out that, this was a pilot, another pilot on those. This was, the ship's captain. And where does this come from? Was it reincarnation?
Yeah. Well, from one perspective, it's trippy, and from another perspective, it's not. It's simply that somebody has been able to have, there's a fancy term for it. There's a dream scientist I know, and he calls it thin, what does he call it? Thin veils. Thin veils, is that what he calls it? Anyway, he said there's people that just, the wall between worlds is just, thin walls, that's it. There's some people that just don't really even have the walls.
Right.
It's just, you just see. And it's what is always, it's what's here in front of all of us, but most of us don't see it because we're caught up in the world of form. But really, all of this information, all of our lives, Einstein said the past, present, and future, it's all here now. It's all relative to the observer. But it doesn't mean that just because we refer to something as the past, that it's actually way back there in the past. It's here. And Bashar, who I'm sure you know, Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar, he refers to it as multiple simultaneous lives as opposed to past lives or future lives. They're all here, they're all now, and they're simultaneous. And it's a matter of our perception and what we're open to, what we access. So it's what might be more strange is that we all don't do this more often. And I think in the years to come, with shows like yours and people that are listening, because everybody who's listening to this show is open, I think in a few years to come, this will be more and more of the norm. And I think as we move toward becoming a more enlightened version of ourselves, human 2.0, as it were, then these kind of things will be much more normal. They'll still be cool, but we'll all be having more and more of them. And I think we'll be a much harmonious, joyous human race with this much awareness.
Now, what about the difference between, astral travel and out-of-body experiences and really excellent lucid dreams? Are they one and the same, or is astral travel unique to dreaming?
I think they, in my experience, and I'm not an expert on astral travel, although I've done it, or I'm not an expert on lucid dreaming, and I've done that. But I believe that they are all related. And and I had a near-death experience. I was out of my body and I saw all kinds of things, and I was able to travel all over the place. But really, kind of like what Einstein said, it's all here. So where do we go? Where do we really go? We're here, but we just see what's been here all along. So I think there is something about being free of the density of our form, and that happens every time we sleep and dream. We are out of our body. We have the ability to go beyond and to have these experiences where we can slip through the cracks and go into other dimensions. We all have that, and we've all done it. Some of us just don't remember that we've done it. But I think every time we have one of these experiences, it's an affirmation that we are in fact more than who we thought we were. We're more than these bodies. We're more than these bodies of affairs. We're more than the election that just happened. We're more than this, and we're a lot more powerful than we thought.
How so? I mean, I want you to take that thought a little bit further.
Well, it's like I know, I'll just speak from my personal experience. When I left my body and I had my death experience, I felt like I went from being so dense and so small in my human form it's like I became the sky. my consciousness became as big as the sky, and I could see everything and I could feel everything and I loved everything. And it's like, oh yeah, this is who I really am. This is the real me. How did I fit in that teeny little form with that teeny little consciousness? I want to remember how big this is. I want to remember how much I can love from here and how much there's no drama and how much there's an answer for every question and everything makes sense from out here. And we all have that. And we all sometimes pop into that larger place. We don't have to die to do it or get really sick to do it. But some of us that need a little bit more drama in our lives, we do have to kind of die to have that experience. But we connect with more of the quantum, the largesse aspect of ourselves. I don't know exactly how to say it, but is it making sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And to that end, what about the other side of the coin? The famous word, nightmares. Why do we have them? And there's got to be a purpose there, right?
Oh yeah, and I love nightmares, and I
love them.
I love them.
Okay.
And
so do I,
so much so that some people call me the nightmare whisperer, because I don't like them just because they're terrifying. I like them because there's a purpose in them. And I feel like sometimes the brighter the light, the bigger the bugs. So Debbie Ford wrote a book called The Dark Side of Light Chasers. And a lot of people that are really on a spiritual path or that are trying to be so good, and the people that go to the Conscious Life Expo, they're very light-filled, and a lot of times they're running from their own shadow. They're running from the parts of them that they're ashamed of or that they're afraid of. And nightmares are everything in our dreams. One perspective from Carl Jung is that every aspect of our dreams is us. And anything that we resist in our lives will come to call in our dreams. And sometimes if we resist it enough, it's going to come with fangs, and it's going to come hungry, and it's going to come and want to devour you. But it's not because it innately is destructive necessarily. It's just because you've been shunning it. You've been running from it, and you've created a stalker out of that energy. So you can, if you're smart, you can see that nightmare as a phenomenal opportunity for growth. And I have what I call my fear formula, which is a nice tidy way of the steps that you take in order to create alchemy in that dream, so that it doesn't have to remain something that terrorizes you. It can turn into something that actually gives you fuel and has you wake up. And I use the word fear as the formula. So F stands for face it, E stands for embrace it, A stands for ace it, which in other words is to become bigger than it, and the R is for replace it, which means that you've turned an enemy into an ally and you've become a bigger being as a result of that. So that's kind of the formula for how to create dream alchemy.
What would you say to a couple that woke up in the morning and had the same nightmare?
Ooh, I would say they're on the same wavelength, that it's probably a very important thing that is being revealed, and it needs to be looked at. I mean, to me, if you look at a nightmare like, oh no, this sucks, this shouldn't be here, then you're going to resist it, you're going to push it away, you're going to try to avoid it. But if you look at it like, okay, this is a massive growth opportunity. Let's embrace this puppy. Let's look at this. Mm-hmm. How can we grow? It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to happen, that death and destruction is in fact our future, if that's what happened in the dream. It's a metaphor, and you might be able to catch it early enough to be able to change it or shift it, even if it is a precognitive something. These dreams come to us so that we can do something about it, so that we can change it.
Is it possible to dream together?
Absolutely. This is one of the reasons why I got into dreams, because I had tandem dreams with my younger sister. We would dream often, if not exactly inside the same dream, a very similar dream or with similar dream characters. So it became something that knitted us psychically together and has kept us really close to this day. So there's some people, some twins do this and some couples do this, but you can, if it doesn't happen naturally, you can incubate it, you can meditate together and attempt to have it occur. As long as you don't put too much pressure on yourself to have it or feel bad if it doesn't happen. But sometimes it happens spontaneously. I know that there's some people that are in dream groups together. In my dream group, we've practiced this, and a lot of the people dream together, and it kind of happens naturally. But there are people that do get really good at it, and it's pretty magical, the things that they're able to manifest and create and get lucid about.
Do you think that the ability is there to actually have this as an interface to interact and sync up with each other where in real time you are actively in the same dream?
I think so. I have different feelings about this because on one level, I feel like in our daily lives, in our waking lives, we spend so much time and energy controlling everything. And when we go to sleep and we dream, it's a really awesome opportunity to not be in the driver's seat, to deliberately let ourselves be in the passenger seat or the back seat for that matter, and let the universe drive and let the universe reveal what it wants us to see. So to me, I think it's juicy to be passive in dreams. However, it's also fun as a game, not necessarily as an always consistent practice, but to use some of your will to say, I'd really like to dream about this, or I'd really love to join you tonight in a dream about this. And sometimes there's important days of the year or certain full moons that it's a really ripe time to join with people and intend something and to make something happen and to interface. I mean, you can play with your level of will and what you can create. And I think it's a wonderful relationship to have where you are instead of my will be done, it's like thy will be done, and yet I want to participate. Like surrendering to the dream maker and yet letting your dream maker know that you're ready and available to do something really wild and really cool and really cutting edge. I mean, there's a guy named Robert Wagner, not the actor, but he's a lucid dreamer who has recorded thousands of his own dreams. And every single night that he would have another lucid dream, he would deliberately take another stair step up the ladder towards a higher level of consciousness. And each time he would see a different color, a different room. And finally, he just kept going and going and going until all of a sudden there was nowhere else to go. And he just landed in this like indigo field, and there was just beautiful music. And it was like, dude, you're done. You could hang out and stop for a while. And he kind of hit a plateau, but it was a beautiful plateau. So we can do some really cool things in our lucid dreaming.
One of the things that I found, I know that some directors out there, Hollywood, they have the ability to remember their dreams, and they get that stuff to cinema. There's just no other way to explain it. Our guest tonight, Kelly Sullivan Walden. We're going to take your phone calls next. Opening up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. I'll be back with Kelly Sullivan. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
You get a Zeepa. You get a Zeepa. You hear me?
What's the name when you snore? It's Zeepa. Zeepa. It's the thing we're craving for. It's Zeepa. Zeepa. You can't sleep all night. Zeepa. Zeepa. And wake up feeling right. It's Zeepa. Zeepa. Makes me love my husband more. 'Cause he no longer snores. Zeepa. Zeepa, it's Zeepa. Zeepa.
Zipa's different than any other device because it actually works. A lot of these other devices, they just bring the jaw forward. That's it. However, the thing that makes Zipa different, it stabilizes the tongue, basically, with this elastic band. But right here, Jimmy's telling you that this is a unique device. Go to Zipa now, buy it, and stop the snoring. Get a Zipa, ZYPPAH.com. Zipa.com. That's ZYPPAH.com.
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. nature'syouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Kelly Sullivan Walden. We're going to get to the phones in just a second. We're going to talk dreams. This portion of the show is brought to you by Life Change Tea. Just go to their banner right now at jimmychurchradio.com to take you to getthetea.com. Just mention Jimmy when you order, either over the phone or online, and you're going to get yourself some free shipping. And next week, Ronnie McMullen of Life Change Tea is going to join us right here on Fade to Black. He's got some exciting new stuff out there, and maybe some of it will help you dream. I gotta ask Ronnie about that. That's you mentioned vitamin B12, right?
Mm-hmm. Vitamin B6.
Vitamin B6.
Any vitamin Bs are good, but vitamin B6 is supposed to be the one to really stimulate your visual cortex.
There you go. Now, before I had one more question on this side, which is this is from JTG. And I don't think this is a joke. I think this is a serious question, which is this. I always dream that I'm not wearing pants. Mm-hmm. Do I need help?
No. This is a common dream. Actually, I write about this in a lot of detail.
Really? Okay.
The love, sex, relationship dream dictionary, because there's a lot of naked dreams and things like that show up there. And really, anytime you show up without clothes and you know it, and you're a little embarrassed or you feel out of place, it usually means that you're either not prepared for the situation, you're embarrassed about that, or that you feel like you've exposed yourself and you perhaps weren't prepared for that. Like a lot of, if somebody tells you they love you and it's early in the game and the person doesn't say I love you back, it's like, I feel like my pants are down. Like I just, I said too much. Or a lot of people with social media will just say things and post things before they've really had a chance to think it through, and they're feeling naked. They feel like, oh my God, I just put myself out there. And and everyone can see me. And I wasn't exactly ready for that. So you ask yourself, where do I feel a little naked or exposed, or usually those are some of the things, the issues that kind of a dream is related to.
Same advice to men and women with
I guess it depends on why you don't have pants on. I mean, are you like happy about that, or was it on purpose? Were you in the midst of having sex, or were you, or were you just like grocery shopping or at work and all of a sudden there? It depends on the feeling tone. But in general, yeah. I mean, if it was a sexual dream, then it would be different. But if it's just, oops, I'm not wearing my pants, then I'd say it's probably similar for men and women.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, I have to admit, I don't think I've done the no pants dream yet. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. This is David, South LA.
Hi, David.
Hey, how are you doing tonight?
Great. And you?
I had a couple questions on dream guides. Have you had experience? I'm sure you've come across this before, but specific guides, maybe the same, I'm not going to say the same person, but the same face comes to you and might give you some information, or, I find that, check this out, how cool is this, that when I'm in a lucid state, when I'm lucidly dreaming, sometimes I'll meet David Bowie.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. So this was before he passed.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That is very cool. Well, I love that you brought this up. This is such a cool thing. And I think some people experience meeting some kind of an avatar or some kind of a cool person that they look up to, a musical icon or a spirit guide. Some people see the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa or a grandparent or an angel or something. And these dreams can be so powerful because often they come packed with wisdom or some form of guidance that we should really pay attention to. And the thing about that is that the dream isn't over just because you woke up. I mean, you just in hearing your voice and talking about David Bowie, it's like you can feel that connection, that memory of that dream is still alive within you now, and you can still access that wisdom. It's like you can still milk it for all it's worth, even if it's months or years later. And on the other side of things, if somebody is listening to this and they're feeling jealous that they haven't had some kind of a cool guide come to them, you can bring it in. I mean, you can think about who you would like to have meet you in the dream time that's a higher being. It can be, a lot of people pick Archangel Michael. Well, Archangel Michael is probably the most popular dream guide among modern dreamers. But it can be Jesus. It can be Mohammed. It can be anybody that you think has got more wisdom guidance for you that can help you. You can get a picture of them or some kind of symbol, a feather or whatever that makes you think about them. Meditate on them before you go to sleep. And often you will trigger a dream that does have something to do with them, or you can bring that wisdom in. So good for you that you just kind of stumbled upon David Bowie and then he's a recurring person for you. That's very cool. Do you get any guidance from him or any particular wisdom?
Not specifically, but the situation winds up setting itself up to be a lucid dreaming situation. And that's the last time I had one like that. I practice a Brazilian form of spiritualism. And I was walking down
what's it
the
called?
Street of my hometown.
The Umbanda?
Kimbanda.
Very cool. Very cool. You guys have a
so-
lot of guides and that you channel,
yes.
right?
Yes, and they've been there. Believe me, I could go into a lot of that. Just one specific one, because my dreams, I can spend an hour writing down the dream I have. That's how long they run for, and full-length movies sometimes. But I was walking down the street of my hometown past this old church that goes back to the 1700s and has a graveyard, and I thought, wow, I'm going to go into this graveyard now because there are specific, deities that rule over the graveyard. And so I went into this graveyard and invoked the Eshure of Takalunga of the cemetery and Maria Pediarena of the cemetery. It was filled with fog right after that. And I continued to walk in, and there I meet Maria Pediarena and Eshure. And Maria Pediarena tells me, I have something to tell you, something important to tell you. But then she turns her head away from me and starts talking to this other woman there. And I'm like, damn, I invoked the spirits.
Right. And
I'm
hey,
waiting
Dave,
on this message.
Hey, David, I'm going to jump in and just say that you took me down, man. I said men don't, write this stuff down, and
hello,
and you do.
Thank you, David.
Sometimes that'll happen.
Yeah.
You with your pants down. We'll see if you dream about it tonight.
Right. Hey, David, thanks for the phone call, my friend.
Very cool.
Can I just finish up the piece of advice?
Okay.
The tripped out part of this, after meeting them, she gave me a big, long kiss. He gave me a big, long kiss. And about 6 months later, I went to visit a friend. He said he had a dream totally unrelated. It was related to his deceased lover. Came to him in a dream, and he didn't hear a thing the guy was telling him. But after he had passed, he had gone to his house because he had to deal with all the paperwork and everything else. But it had been turned upside down by family, and everything was everywhere. It was a complete mess. It would have taken him days. But when he got there, bam, he knew where everything was.
Ooh.
It was suddenly like this memory that was given to him suddenly came to him at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. And and again, David, I'm very impressed that you write everything down. Do you remember the book "Real Men Don't Eat Quiche"? Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
So, I used to have
I've heard
this.
some people taking it to heart.
Right. I used to have a mantra, man. Real men don't journal. Well, I take it all back. Thank you, David.
All back. Real men don't wear pants in their dreams, and real men journal.
There you go. Thank you,
right.
David. Be safe out there.
Thanks a lot.
You got
Thank you, David. Wow,
great
very
phone
cool.
call. What is it? Is it normal not to have nightmares? If somebody just has dreams, like Charlie Brown and Warner Brothers cartoons, and instead of nightmares, is that normal?
Oh, it so depends on the person, because really a nightmare means that you are in the midst of grappling with something and that you've got a challenge that you're working through. So if you are having a lot of peace in your dreams, then maybe you've resolved what's on your plate to resolve. But there's also that perspective that if you're not challenged, you're not growing. And so there's some people that might live very safe lives and everything's nice and orderly, and they might not have dreams that are that spicy and that challenging. So it's hard to judge. I mean, there's some people that have a ton of nightmares, and it's not necessarily because they're bad people or they're cursed or anything. I mean, they could be doing some of the dirty laundry for other people. There's so many different reasons that we have these dreams. And I met I don't know if you're familiar with Chief Golden Light Eagle. He is a Lakota chief, and in their tradition, when you stop dreaming, when you finally get to the place where you have peace, it means that you've done your work. You've done all the heavy lifting, and that's your reward for having worked through all of your issues. So when you're dreaming, it means you still have issues. And if you've got nightmares, it means you've got some big ones that are up. And so if you have some peace, then that could mean that you get a reprieve. It's a little bit of a gift. If you're just getting Charlie Brown and that's all you've ever had, I would say that's kind of, you need to spice things up in your life. You need to challenge yourself, and your dreams will reflect that.
Well, what about, do you have any thoughts on the idea that lucid dreaming could be glimpses of an alternate reality or a parallel universe?
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just recently was at the Griffith Park Observatory here in LA, and it's, with all the what is it, 360 billion galaxies, and there are, and besides just the physics and the astronomy of it all, there are so many different realities. So, yeah, I mean, I know that I've glimpsed several. My husband has glimpsed several, but there's so many. I mean, my God, we're talking infinite. So there's many, many rooms in this mansion, and our dreams and our lucid dreams for sure help us to explore some of these places that aren't obvious in ordinary reality. And every time we open up one of those rooms, I think that we just become bigger, more creative, better humans.
And one of our recent guests, which is his name's Jason Quitt, he dreams, but he does time travel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I know it goes back to a little bit what we were talking about before, going back in time or possibly a past life and so forth. But should we really pay attention to that if we are, if we have the ability to do this and go specifically to a place and go into the future and see the future, or go into the far past and see the past? Is this something we need to write down and maybe go speak with somebody like yourself to see what is going on?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially if it seems like a solid reality that has matter to it, that you can keep coming back to and you keep seeing patterns. And it does seem, I think there's some spaces that we go into that are really, that move around so much that they don't seem like they necessarily have a density to them. And then there's some that seem so real that we absolutely know that this was a place. Like, that wasn't just kind of a figment of my imagination. That was a place. So if that's the case, then it's kind of, to the one who much has been given, much is expected. We should, as Margaret Mead said, be the anthropologist of our lives, take note of these things and do something with these images. I mean, we might be, we might really be onto something, a lost civilization, data that could be incredibly useful. So yeah, especially if it's recurring and it's constant. I know Carl Jung had a recurring place that he would go to regularly, that was a neighborhood, and that it was, he always saw the same people, and there was universities and stores and it was like a whole other life, but they were people that weren't kind of like us, but they were a little bit different. But it was a consistent place that he went to, and he named it, and he did, it's like it was a real place. It wasn't just a dream place that he went to.
And what about a situation where you are being fed information? You're being told about history. You've got somebody there that is something that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
You haven't researched before, but suddenly you're waking up with facts.
You got to write that stuff down. Write that stuff down. I mean, there's a reason that some people tap into these things, and some people tap in because it's for them personally.
Right.
Some people tap in because it's for the collective. They're meant to write about it. Some people tap in because it's meant for somebody that they're going to share something with. And you don't know exactly, like, when it's happening. I think there should be a very much of a beginner's mind and an innocent quality to it. I always think that when we first wake up in the morning, we should just be about the business of taking dictation. Like, we don't analyze it. We're like a dutiful secretary that just takes notes, writes it down, puts it somewhere so that we have access to it later. It's not ours to judge immediately, but do write it down, or write a picture that describes the scenario so that we can recall it later and bring it back. Yeah, it's such a gift when this kind of a thing happens, and we don't know who it's for, if it's for us or if it's for somebody else.
What's the significance? This is from David. He wants to know, what is the significance of a dream of a map of different places where he has lived as a contiguous, unified, single place?
Whoa. Well, this is an advanced dreamer. This guy is, pretty amazing and should absolutely take note of this and look for the commonalities and channel and ask the questions of, like, what does this mean and what am I to do with this and what does this say about me? And I mean, to get something as specific as a map, that's a gift. I mean, so often dreams are cryptic and we just get little fragments and little pieces. But if you're getting a map and you're continuously building on it, then he should consider himself very lucky. And I would just take excellent notes and not take any dream lying down and do something with it. And maybe at some point it will become clear why he's getting this information and what he's to do with it. But in the meantime, just treat it like it's following breadcrumbs through the forest. Just keep collecting each little bit of information and allow at some point the clarity to reveal itself. What a really great gift that he would get that level of clarity. I'm a little jealous, frankly, but that's awesome.
Okay, one more call before the break. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Kelly.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Frank.
Hi, Frank.
I just want to tell you, I have these recurring dreams for about 30 years.
Oh wow!
I'm in high school or something, and I'm always kind of lost, or didn't open the book, or it's always kind of academic based. But it's been recurring for 30 years. Not all the time, not every week, maybe infrequently. I just don't know what that means, though. And it's always I'm kind of got anxiety about it. I'm missing class or something. And it constantly going on for maybe more than 30 years.
What do you think about that, Kelly? And thanks for the phone call, Frank. Excellent question.
Thank you, Frank. I like to tell people when they share this kind of dream with me that I've never heard a slacker that has these recurring school dreams. Usually these dreams come to people that really do care about what they present, and they do want to be prepared in life. And so often these dreams come, and even though they're filled with anxiety, usually the dreamer, if they remember this dream, they're very careful about making sure that whatever it is they're up to, they do get their act together. They do prepare. They do check and do the due diligence to make sure that problems don't happen. A lot of people in radio and television, film, and people that have to perform and be on all have these dreams, and this helps them to be better. So in some ways, these dreams are showing you, it could be from another perspective, that life is in session and that there is some kind of a life lesson that's being learned, similar to being back in school. Like life is a school, we're always learning. But when these dreams happen, it could be, around a time in your life when you're being tested about something and you're not quite prepared, but this dream might help you to become more prepared. Does that
definitely. So thank you so much, Frank, for the phone call. Excellent phone call. And I almost went back to Frank to ask him if he enjoyed high school, if that was part of it. Right. Because absolutely. I love dreaming. High school, if I have high school dreams, it's usually pretty rocking because I had a pretty good time in high school. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Kelly. Who's calling?
Hi, Kelly. This is Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Have, I guess the opposite side of the question. I had a recent dream that felt so real where I met, I fell in love with a person. I saw this person absolutely in love with me. I saw my business opening up where I walk in and I saw all of my creativity on display for everyone. Wow. I did not want to wake up from this dream. I wanted to be there. I wanted to stay there. It felt so good that I was on a high for about a week from just that one dream.
Marie, I'm so glad that you brought this up because this is such a special kind of dream. I think of this as a wish fulfillment dream. And when you have these kind of dreams, they're not just, they do feel so good and we don't want to wake up from them, and we can be on a high for several days. But really, if you milk this dream can help to quicken your path to have the fulfillment that you felt in your dream. If I were you and I had this dream, I would meditate on the feeling tone of that dream, of having that person that loves you so much, that you love so much, and that your business and your creativity is flourishing and it's on display. That peak feeling, it's kind of like inside of the world of the law of attraction. This is like your own personal combination, your own personal code to access that high flying, vibing feeling that will help you be more of that attractor beam to actually bring that into reality. In some way, we all, like the universe, wants us all to be this fulfilled, but most of us aren't vibrating there, so that we miss it. It goes over our head. But if you vibrate here and it's like you build your muscles by practicing meditating on the feeling of this dream, it will have to show up in some way, shape, or form, some kind of reality that expresses what you experienced in your dream.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for sharing it. I can feel how much this uplifted you. And so think of it as a preview of coming attractions. Even if what actually shows up in your life isn't exactly what you saw, it will be sort of like that, and it will be awesome. And it might even be better than what you saw in your dream.
Yes, so keep myself open to it.
Keep yourself open, because the universe is big and there's a lot of love here for you. And the universe wants you to be fully creative and fully thriving. And the fact that you're connected to it, it's kind of like I could just hear all your angels like cheer with their bottles of champagne, doing a cheers for you. Like, she's getting it. She's getting closer. Yeah. Keep going, Marie.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Kelly, you're beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jimmy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marie. Great phone call. What about, okay, I'm gonna do this really, really quick, and I'm lining up phone calls here too. Remember, awesome. It's a one-man show. Okay, awesome. Callers, just stay on hold. I'm clicking the buttons that I need to click. Okay, but this is a great question, and we're going to head to a break. What about somebody, and this is from Booth, seeing people in their dreams that they know, but the face is different, but they know who it is?
Well, think about everybody in your dream being you, and they're all an aspect of you. So ask yourself, is this person female? Are they masculine? Are they young? Are they old? So it could be that if it's somebody that you know, then first of all, ask, what are the 3 qualities that this person represents to me? And then what is this face that is so different about them? A face is usually what you present to the world and what's on the surface. So these are aspects of you that might be being shown that it's time to have a different face about it, or to turn about face, or to look at things differently, or look at this aspect of yourself differently. It's helpful if the person is on the line and they could say who this person is that has the different face. But just know that when you're looking at it logically, it might seem, well, that's really strange. But inside the dream, I'm sure it makes perfect sense. And it might be a hybrid of 2 different people. So in which case you would say, what are these 2 different people? What are the qualities or the adjectives that describe these 2 different people?
Right.
And how are these aspects of me that I'm grappling with in myself?
There you go. All right, let's take a quick break right here. Our guest tonight, Kelly Sullivan Walden, the Dream Goddess. I like saying that. I just have to. The Dream Goddess.
I like the way you say it, Jimmy. It's so
This
sweet.
is Fade to Black. More of your phone calls next. If you're on hold, stay right there. We'll get to everybody.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have sciatica, then you know all about the crippling pain that travels from your lower back down your leg when a spasm occurs. It's brutal. In fact, it's enough to take your breath away. Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream helps relieve persistent, shooting pains associated with the sciatic nerve in the lower back and legs. This natural, homeopathic cream contains the most potent ingredients to soothe even the most excruciating pain associated with sciatica. Stop the pain now. Ask for Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream at your local health food store or go online to trasknutrition.com.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Wow, man. Great questions tonight over in Twitter. All you have to do is post to hashtag F2BQ. Any questions on your dreams? If you can't get through on the phones, which I get, I understand, just post it over in hashtag F2BQ. Got a lot of stuff, but I will get to all of it. Kelly, what a great show.
This is so fun.
Yeah, and before I lose control of what's going on here, what's the best way for everybody to reach out to you and get in touch?
Oh, I love you for that. Thank you so much. One of the best ways is through Facebook, Kelly Sullivan Walden, Dr. Dream, and doctor is spelled all the way out, or Twitter, Kelly S. Walden, and my website, kellysullivanwalden.com.
There you go. It's really that easy. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Kelly. Who's calling?
Hi, Kelly. This is Brent from Prosper, Texas.
Hi, Brent.
I have three things for you.
Okay.
Two of them are reoccurring dreams that I have. The first one, I have The older I get, the less I have it. It's probably about 5 or 6 times a year. And the second one I have probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh, wow.
The first one is I grew up in the Midwest. Tornadoes, have always been a part of our life here.
Yeah.
And I have a dream that I'm out on in a prairie in our house, and a tornado's coming in, and I'm getting our family down into a cellar. That's the one. The older I get, I don't have it as much, but I see this tornado coming in, and it's big, and it's just frightening. And the second one, I was in the military. I was a dog handler in the United States Air Force. And
oh, wow. That's so cool. Thank you.
I have a dream that I was stationed in Panama for years.
Where?
And I have a dream.
What base?
Sorry, go ahead.
What base in Panama?
Howard Air Force Base.
I lived on Fort Amador.
Okay.
Wow.
I actually lived on Albrook.
Yeah, Albrook, right across the street from our high school, Balboa High School. Absolutely.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Balboa.
Yep. It's small down there.
I'm going back down there.
Wow.
What did I just talk about in the opening of this show, Brent? Didn't you hear my reoccurring dream about me going to Panama?
I think it's a theme.
Yeah,
for
right.
some reason.
How trippy is this? Okay, go ahead.
I have a dream that I'm taking my family back with me, and I'm picking my dog back up. But this time, when we go back down there, and I was down there during some times of conflict, but this time when we're going back down there, I'm seeing all the signs that we're gearing up for war. And I don't know. It's a deal where it's not really a frightening dream because I miss it, I guess, so much.
Right.
But that was I got out in '94, so I've had this dream pretty much 2 or 3 times a week, 3 or 4 times a week, maybe since '94.
Yeah, I wonder what that's all about because Kelly, I don't know if you heard me my little opening statement during the show, but I had this reoccurring dream of me going back to Panama.
Wow.
And part of it, I know, just what Brent just said, Panama kicked ass. I loved it down there, you know.
So I hear.
Yeah, I just had a great time, and I haven't been back since, but I had this reoccurring dream about me going back to Panama. And it's interesting that Brent has had the same dream. It's
that's so cool. Synchronicity, so extra importance.
The last thing I wanted to say is the third thing is my ex-wife and I had several times where we shared dreams. Have you ever heard of that?
So you'd share dreams sometimes with your ex-wife. Okay, let's see if we can address all of these things. To me, I'll just start with Panama. It feels like that was a really significant time in your life, even though it was back in '94. It doesn't matter. But it was a time of really expressing your identity, like your sense of self, and if that was a lot of men find a sense of duty in their, women too, like a sense of purpose and also even not just from the happy side of it, but the fact that there was war and there was things that you were having to prepare for that were very much life and death. That leaves a really strong imprint, and it's not exactly PTSD, like post-traumatic stress, although it's related to that because it left such an imprint. In some ways, recurring dreams take us back to this isn't exactly the best way to put it, but it's like the scene of the crime or a scene of a place where there was a deep imprint and where we're still trying to wrap our heads around who we are as a result of what happened there and maybe picking up some of the pieces of that. So part of it is it sounds like there's some really pleasure because you had a sense of yourself and also a sense of purpose, but also a sense of preparing for something terrifying. So any dream that hits any situation in real life that really cuts you to the core is going to recur in dreams, partly because it's who you are, partly because you're still trying to unravel and resolve things that maybe went on back then.
Right. The third point that he made was him and his ex-wife
recurring dream, or dreaming in tandem together. Well, really, at the there's two things. There's the phenomenon of having this experience together, which really, in essence, means that you were on the same wavelength, that you were psychically connected. And then there's the issue of, what did you guys dream about? What did you see together, and what were those significant pieces? And those things might symbolize important aspects of your relationship, or putting some pieces of things together. Is there anything about those recurring dreams? Is there like one symbol that stands out that you both really locked into together?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It wasn't anything extraordinary. It was just, you wake up and you kind of start talking about it, and, she had the same dream.
Wow, that's
we were both
weird.
There at the same time.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I mean, a lot of times, think about it, when you're sleeping with somebody, you're sharing a similar dream space, and you've got things in common, but it's very special that when you're on the unconscious, when you're both unconscious and you happen to retrieve something from that place and bring it back. And that really, to me, is an affirmation, and it can. And you said she's your ex-wife, so it's not who you're with now. But I would say that you probably had a very strong bond with her, and this was one of the telltale signs of why you were together. What
was your first question, Brent?
It was about the recurring
I had
dream.
a recurring dream about
the tornadoes. So again, so there's two things about the tornado. The fact that you really did in real life experience these things, which is terrifying, and anything that's life and death, your subconscious mind's job is to keep you alive. So you're going to replay these moments so that you can survive better. And it worked, because here you are all these years later to tell the tale. So there's something about rehearsing a worst case scenario so that you are better prepared to know how to handle it. But then if you look at the dream symbolically, a tornado is a storm, which can symbolize stormy emotions. There's women that have these dreams as well. Mostly women will have the water dreams, like a tsunami or big waves. A lot of men will have tornadoes or even earthquakes, where it's more of like an expression of anger, like not necessarily knowing what to do with those big feelings. So a weather dream that's in intense extreme weather is often about, if we're going to look at it symbolically, that there's emotions going on that you didn't necessarily know where to put, and it spun you up, and it was intense, and it threatened to break things apart. So it might be a message.
It was almost like we were in an older time. Like it was like during a like early 1900s, 1920s, 30s sometime.
Well, as Jimmy and I were talking about, this could be related to an unresolved something.
Okay, one at a time here, folks.
Go ahead.
What was that, Brent?
Oh, anyway, it was more like I was more calm, and everyone else was kind of freaking out around me. And I was more, hey, look, you just need to do this, and we're going to be okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really, it's a really valuable thing for everybody who's listening to pay attention to the theme of how you show up in your dreams, because some people are always the observer. Some people are always the one that's crying. Some people are always the one that people have to take care of. And some people are the ones like you that are the eye of the storm, that really pay attention and get really logical, and you can look at things matter of fact. So I bet you that role is significant. And I wonder if you play that role in your waking life. Are you the guy that's calm while everyone else is freaking out?
I think so. I mean, my wife will tell you that she wouldn't want to be around anybody else in a time of emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
More than me.
What an important role, and you might be rehearsing that role so that you can play that role really well when the storm does come. And sometimes when you become aware of a pattern like that, you might say, well, do I want to always be the calm one? What if I want to cry every once in a while? What if I want somebody to hold space for me?
Right.
Or, hey, this is my role and I like it, and I'm just going to become even better at it. But what a cool role to play.
Thank you for the phone call, Brent. Great.
Thanks, Brent.
Great phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Jimmy. My name is Liz.
Hi, Liz.
I had a dream last night. I saw a video on YouTube about how this Saudi Arabians treat the women. And it was very upsetting, kind of angry. Got a little bit of, and then I watched a very nice, video just before going to bed, so I have that memory.
Yeah.
Although I did my meditation and I said, well, I want to remember my dream and what was it for. So I had this very vivid dream where was a spaceship, and it was formed by green emerald gems. And I remember in my dream, I woke up in my dream and I said to myself, I am in the dream. I can ask anything I want.
Wow.
And then I asked, what is this green emerald chip for? Then the answer in my dream, and I actually got an answer, was this is the wavelength frequency that you should emanate to the Saudi Arabians to change their mindset. That was the answer. That's how worried I was about the women over there.
Right. Well,
Liz.
You know what? I think that's two important points here. Go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, Liz, I'm just so blown away. I love the whole arc of this, that there's this problem that you focused on before you went to sleep, this program that you saw, it was disturbing, and then you get this solution for it, and that you go into outer space. I mean, so I always look at dreams from both a literal and then a symbolic perspective. And if we looked at your dream literally, I mean, it could be that you did connect with beings from a higher plane, or there might have been an actual craft that you went on that did have this emerald green. And I have heard so many dreams similar to this that all have this emerald green thing. So I think there is something to this color, this stone, this thing that does have an intense, it's like a transmitter of some kind. I think one cool thing about dreams is that we will find, just like Einstein said, that you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. And he talked about going into the solution part of the mind that is on a higher plane than where the problem is. And dreams will sometimes give us a really bizarre solution to a problem that you'd think, well, what does an emerald have to do with the way they treat women in Saudi Arabia? Well, what if this was the most effective and efficient way to heal this? I mean, what if, Liz, you just got an answer and now you're sharing it with all of us? And what if we all kind of envisioned this emerald green moving in that direction? I mean, I've heard stranger things than this actually like heal cancer and resolve people, from going from wanting to kill each other to having complete healing. So I think that you stumbled on a beautiful insight, and really you demonstrated the whole reason why I'm passionate about dreams, because of the way that these kind of things can be revealed. So I think if I were you, I would experiment with this and see what kind of results you get if you can get some people doing this with you, and see if some kind of a change can happen in Saudi Arabia.
What a cool dream.
Definitely.
Yeah, what a cool dream, Liz. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing
Thank you, Kelly, for your job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Liz, great. What about great phone calls tonight?
I love it getting the theme. I mean, like over time, getting to see patterns, and I've heard so many alien spacecraft giving a healing solution and seeing a green emerald, it being in a ball or being in some form, but it seems like that there is a theme here, and I'm covered in chills. So I think we're on to something.
Yeah, what about this? This just came in via email from DL. And DL says, what about seeing something in writing?
Well, that's a gift, because often dreams, like I said before, can be really cryptic, and the symbols can be hard for people to decipher. When things are written down, it helps. It's like we pray to have the dreams reveal themselves like writing on the wall. So as always, write that down, whatever it is, even if the words are jumbled, even if it comes out kind of strange or there's weird words that show up. But it's great. It's like you're getting closer to solving the puzzle when it is written down like that. And then it's just a matter of figuring out what the words are. There's a friend of mine, actually, who woke up with a very strange, cryptic message that was written. And I can't remember exactly what the words were, but they weren't the way that we would normally talk. And one of the words she didn't understand. It was in a different language. And her friend that next day upon awakening had turned up that she had been missing for days. And it was a murder case. Her fiance turned out that he murdered her.
Whoa.
And the name of his boat or something was named this weird word that showed up in her dream. And she ended up helping the investigators find out where she had been because of the name of the boat.
Shut up. Is that true?
It is true.
Wow.
It is true.
Well, I know it's true. I'm just saying, wow,
Yeah.
is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. So
wow.
I always say pay attention to whatever comes written down. And if it's weird, do not discard it. In fact, highlight it and circle it if it is weird, because often that is the biggest clue that will lead you to whatever it is that is trying to be revealed.
And what about reading before you go to bed?
Yeah. It depends on what you read. I mean, I loved what Liz talked about, that she this wasn't about her reading, it was about her watching something. Often people will watch the news or watch or listen or read something that's scary or that's a nightmare, the kind of stuff of nightmares, because it's stimulating. Whatever the last thing is that we read or watch before we go to sleep is going to absolutely come into our dreams. So what Liz did was exactly the right thing. And I hope Liz is listening, because I just want to applaud her. So she watched something scary, and then she cleansed her palate by watching something that was more pleasing. And then she meditated, and then she went to sleep, and then she got this beautiful solution. So she didn't just have to go to sleep replaying the trauma of the way that the Saudis treat women. Or not all the Saudis, but I know what she's talking about. And so she could have gone to sleep and traumatized herself, but she cleansed her palate. She did something that actually brought her closer to solution. So what we read is really important. We know if we knew that what we were feeding our subconscious mind right before we went to sleep, how impactful it is, we would be so careful with what we feed ourselves, what we put into our minds, what we read, because we are really affecting such a powerful yet vulnerable part of our consciousness.
Teresa wants to know. She says she has dreams with cats, lions, tigers, pink panthers, house cats, kittens. Is that a spirit animal thing or what?
Sure. And I wonder if she has cats, but if we're going to look at it symbolically, cats are an amazing symbol. I always say when any kind of an animal steps into your dream, and if it's a recurring animal, especially if it's, if you love that animal and you have them all over your house all the time, then that's one thing. But if it's not, then that kind of is even maybe a little bit more special. Then it could definitely be a spirit animal. And I think cats, any kind of cat, the difference between a cat and let's say a dog or a coyote or something like that, cats compared to dogs are not people pleasers. They take care of themselves. I think about cats as being a message to take care of yourself and know that if you do, you will land on your feet. They seem to travel between dimensions, and they carry an interesting way about them, and they're pleasure centric. They take care of their pleasure. Most women in our Western world they feel guilty when they have too much pleasure, or they take too good of care of themselves. They're better when they're taking care of everyone else. So I always think a cat that shows up is about, honey, take care of you and know that you're going to land on your feet if you do.
Let's take one more call before the break here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, it's
Who is it?
Gigi.
Hey, Gigi, what's up, my brother?
Hey, Gigi.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Gigi.
Okay, Gigi, what have you got real quick? We're up against a break, and I would talk to you for the rest of the show, but we're up against a break. So, Gigi, what have you got for Kelly? And I gots to know what you're going to ask.
Well, I've got a little bit of a dream conundrum, and I feel like, Jimmy, you've probably experienced this before. I've had several dreams before, actually, where during the dream, I'm at a concert watching a band play, which the band is always 8 times out of 10. It's actually the same band all the times I've had this dream. And so I'm watching the band play.
Band?
And the music that they're playing is completely... Okay, first of all, the band is a real band in real life. But
Who's the band?
I am watching them play.
Who's the band?
Who? We're dying to know who.
Gigi, who is the band?
Oh, yeah, no, that's Eagles of Death Metal.
Okay, yeah, good choice.
Side project there.
Right, good choice. Right.
And and I'm obviously very familiar with their catalog. But when I'm watching their performance in the dream, they are playing songs that do not exist in real life. But in the dream, they are authentic, fully written. The lyrics, the composition, everything is absolutely
what they
fantastic.
Would have done. Right. I've had the same dreams, Gigi, and you're absolutely right with that. I'm going to throw that to Kelly. Well, my answer, Gigi, is, dude, you need to write that stuff down, because you have hit songs that are being vaporized into the ether. But Kelly, what does that represent there?
Oh my God. Well, some of the best songs and the best compositions have come through dreams. So why not you? And why not? And it might be for this band. It might be for you. It might be for something else. But the fact that you're getting it, if there's any way that you can record it or write those lyrics down. I know my husband's a musician and a composer, and he gets some of his best things in the middle of the night. And when he's smart, he'll record them somehow. I know there's another producer friend of mine that got all kinds of crazy, like stuff for a whole different project, so different than anything he had ever worked on before. All of it came downloaded through a dream. So it's really just a place where your logical mind is suspended and the wall between worlds is open, and you're getting some really cool creative stuff. And really, I hope that you do something cool with it. Also, symbolically, music is like, whether it's death metal or whether it's a symphony, it means that your soul is in your body, that you're connecting soulfully in your life. And this is an expression of the unique way that your soul wants to sing or wants to express.
Gigi, man.
Yeah, well, and even more than that, though, Eagles of Death Metal, that's kind of a joke of their name. It's actually more of dance rock. It's not metal at all. But
okay.
The thing that really stands out to me more is that that kind of shows to me that there's no way that my brain is on the spot producing a fully, composed and well-written song on the spot. To me, that kind of shows like I must be tapping into some other dimension or some other realm of reality. I mean, I just have a hard time imagining that that's my brain coming up with that while I'm sleeping.
Because it's not
rather than
it's not the normal Gigi, but the truth is, just like I was saying before, it's like you're an infinite being, and you've just gotten accustomed to saying, this is who I am, and I fit inside of this nice little box, and this is what my habits are. But your dreams blow all of that to smithereens, and it opened you up to a larger aspect of you. It is you. You are a genius, and you just have to get it. And at some point, you'll own it as you, and it's not just for someone else. I mean, it's a part of reality that you've come in contact with. So is it yours? Yes. And is it a part of just what's out there anyway? Yes. But you tapped into it. And that's really cool. It's a blessing, especially when something comes fully done. I mean, it's hard to get all of that down into this dense reality from the dream world. But if you can, even just a piece of it, I mean, it can be really special. I mean, there's so many, and I don't know why this is a totally different song, but you're familiar with the Beatles, the song Yesterday, right? You guys know that song came to Paul McCartney in a dream.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
And Sympathy for the Devil also came in.
Part of urban legend now, but you're absolutely right. Gigi, thank you for the phone call, my brother.
Write that stuff down.
Write it down, Gigi. Our guest.
Real Men Journal.
All right. Hey, Kelly, I've got a couple more, 2 or 3 questions that I've got to get out to you from the listeners. Can you hang on for a few minutes after the break?
Absolutely.
All right. Our guest tonight, Kelly Sullivan Walden, the Dream Goddess. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Kelly at Kelly S. Walden. We'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Ricki, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Our guest tonight, Kelly Sullivan Walden, the Dream Goddess. KellySWalden.com is the website. The links are over at Jimmy Church Radio. Just click on them. They're right there. All right, Kelly, thank you for hanging out for a little bit of overtime. But these are some important questions, and this is a fan-driven show, and I really want to get all of these in. And thank you for doing this for us.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor.
All right, Deuce Guy says, Jimmy, in my dreams, they are almost always populated by strangers, people I've never met. Please ask Kelly what she makes of stranger dreams.
Well, everyone in your dream is you. And just like, I can't remember who it was in the dream before, the one who's always calm in the midst of the tornadoes. That was Brent. So it's important to pay attention to the themes that we have because those say a lot about us. So if they're always strangers, he doesn't say if they're strangers that he has a good feeling about or if they're just, he just is kind of like a strange man in a strange land. I would think that says something about him, and maybe maybe he's somebody that keeps himself kind of from socializing with people, and maybe this dream is getting his attention and saying, hey, maybe make some friends, go out of your way to break the pattern. It could be that he's tapping into a new place that he hasn't acclimated himself. But in general, if you're dreaming about strangers, I would say that it's about you identifying with a strange aspect of yourself. You're not completely at home in the place that you're at. It's not your tribe. You're not in that place where you're feeling completely connected. So maybe maybe that's good, and maybe you want to make some changes.
Last week, I woke up in the morning, and this is in reference to Gigi. Actually, it's kind of funny. So I wake up and and I turn to Rita and I go, I just had the craziest dream. And she goes, what? I said, you two, the band,
Yes.
two wanted to play at this elementary school in the cafeteria and hired me as the sound guy. And we had to set up on this little rickety elementary school portable stage kind of thing in the cafeteria, and tried to get through a sound check. And they had no equipment, right? It was like this crazy. It was just I can't make any sense of it. But it lasted all night long. This was a full-on 8-hour nightmare of trying to get you two to sound check, and everybody was there too, man. It was the Edge, Bono, Adam Clayton, the crew, and it was a hilarious dream, and it lasted all night long. And I woke up and I told Rita all about it. She looked at me like I lost my mind. All right, Christopher says. He says, I once had a dream that involved a nude female mentor. What could that mean or signify?
Okay. Well, can I say something about your dream too?
Sure.
Your two dream?
Sure.
I think it's always worthwhile to look for the extremes in dreams. So you two, could describe them in 3 words.
You two?
Yeah. Like, what do they? If I was an alien and had no idea what you two was.
Big, powerful. And a singer that can't sing. That's what I would. That's you know what I mean. He's he's not Pavarotti.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But yet they're big, they're huge, and they have a message. So it's
they're
not
epic,
necessarily about talent. There's no big epic drum solos or guitar solos, or it's about the message and the song. Right. They're big and powerful.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So there's a juxtaposition between this massive band, this iconic band, and this kind of rinky-dink elementary school that's got a cafeteria and a stage. So these things normally don't fit together. So to me, that equals important, because it's like anytime things really don't fit in a dream, it's like pay attention. So I would say where might you be in your life looking at where the big aspect of you, the part of you that is an icon, that's big and all of this, and maybe where you don't think you have the talent, but you're doing a lot, but you're trying to get the elementary parts of things together. You're trying to sort through the things that are elementary, my dear Watson, the details, and the things that might be like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with that stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's an important dream. Hang on one second, though. My throat is having a little funky moment.
Man, I can only imagine the email I'm going to get. What do you mean Bono can't sing, pal? Yeah, I can feel it. Okay, Christopher's question was about the nude female mentor.
Oh my God. Well, this sounds like a dream if he's a straight guy. It's nude female mentor. Okay, so if everyone in the dream is you, we would say that if he's a man, then the female represents the female aspect of himself, his femininity, his emotions, his intuition. And she's naked, which means she's revealed, and she's wearing it all on her sleeve, and she's guiding him. So a lot of men are talking about their connecting with the inner goddess, and this kind of comes around to why dream goddess. There's an intelligence in the female aspect of men, and when they tap into it, it makes them more powerful. So I would say this is a dream that is helping him to be more connected to the feminine aspect, the part of him that journals. Just kidding. And the part of him that's connected to his inner wisdom that might be the more subtle body. And there's something really wise about this, and probably maybe his sensuality as well. Every woman has an inner masculine. Every man has an inner feminine. And it sounds like he's coming into some beautiful harmony with his inner feminine.
David wants to know if you can dream in a language that you don't speak fluently, not random gibberish. It flows and sounds correct.
I have heard this from several people, and I've heard some of the language that some people do come through with. So absolutely. And if he was wise, he would write this down and try to, put it together and see if it does actually add up to something, and see if there's other people that are dreaming a similar language. It could be, I think when I hear about this kind of thing, that it's a language that connects people to a higher vibration, a higher aspect of themselves. When they connect with these languages, when I hear them, it seems like it does. It operates on a higher frequency somehow.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he understood. If you understand a language.
I'd be curious about that.
Let's see. I hear phantom noises while I'm falling asleep that wake me up. What is that?
Phantom noises. Like things that aren't really there, but he's hearing some interesting sounds.
I'm just reading the question as it's from Tanette.
I hear, I don't know if this is exactly what he's talking about, but if it's something that's not actually there, I mean, if we, when we're in a deep dream and there's a tractor that goes by or we hear something, then we will often interpret it in our dream, and it can sometimes wake us up. But there are some people that do hear sounds or hear people talking, and they aren't physically there. So some people are more connected to their clairaudient aspect. Maybe he is hearing some sounds that do come in from another dimension. And these sounds, I don't know what kind of sounds they are, but it would be worth paying attention to. And what are they trying to say to him? What I want to do is validate that it may be a reality that isn't of this ordinary three-dimensional world.
And one last question. Mark says, I've got to ask the age-old question. Why do we dream?
Oh, wow. So many ways to answer that. And in this moment, I'm moved to go back to Liz's dream and to say that one really practical reason why we dream is to not just solve problems, but to heal things so that we can become better people. I love that in her dream, she connected with this very bizarre symbol, this emerald, and she could use it towards energies that were of a lower vibration. And if all of this is happening within Liz, then this is a way for her to heal this suppressed feminine aspect of herself with this thing. So I think our dreams help us to remember that we are more than just the smallness of our lives and the density of our bodies. We are much more vast than this, and that we have solutions that to any problem we have the answers to any question we have. We wrote the curriculum. We're connected to all of life. And when we forget that, our dreams help us to remember that. And they actually help us to wake up.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Now, the Conscious Life Expo is coming up. I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but in 2 short weeks, February 10th. I know.
What?
Today's the 23rd. It's the February 10th. Yeah, 2 weeks. Wow. What are you going to be speaking about this time around?
I am going to be I'm going to be leading a workshop called Dream Goddess, and I'm going to be integrating the 7 primary Greek goddesses and how they dream through us, men and women. Obviously, I think more women will be coming to this workshop, but men are absolutely invited. It's a way to be able to identify how to get into greater balance and how to move forward. I did a prototype of this workshop, and the people in the workshop really got so much from it. There's 7 goddesses. There's Athena, Aphrodite, Artemis, Hera, Persephone, Demeter, and Hestia, and we all have all of them. And some of them are taking over, and some of them are in the shadows. And it's about how to honor them and how to recognize them in our dreams. And it's one way to interpret our dreams through goddess glasses. And it's pretty spicy.
Thank you so much. And, all of you Fadernauts and everybody that is going to be at the Conscious Life Expo, go up to and say hi to Kelly. She's easy to spot from across the room. She's the one glowing.
Oh, my God, Jimmy Church, I love you. And a big shout out and a big hug to Rita.
Absolutely.
I love you both. Thank you so much. Sweet dreams. Don't take your dreams lying down.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Kelly, and we'll see you February 10th over at Conscious Life.
I can't wait. Lots of love.
Bye. The best, Kelly Walden. Now, Kelly Sullivan Walden, KellySWalden.com. Everything is over at Jimmy Church Radio. And do go to Conscious Life Expo and say hi to Kelly. All right, I'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right. Wow, what a great show. Kelly, Sullivan Walden. Links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. I got to tell you, when you have a show like that and a conversation like that, what I thoroughly enjoyed about it, and I know you did the same thing, you think about your dreams and you think about where you have been. You just do that, you know, and you go through a journey. Fun show. Wow. All right. I'm going to get a few of these things out of the way really quick because they're all interesting and above all important. And check this out. It has taken 5 years longer than expected, but a competition intended to spark commercial development of the moon is in the home stretch, with at least 5 teams aiming to land robotic spacecraft on the moon. And this is going to happen before the end of the year, 2017. 5. The first vehicle to successfully complete a series of tasks on the moon, such as sending back video and flying, rolling, or hopping to a second lunar touchdown, will clinch the $20 million cash prize. Yeah, before the end of 2005. How nuts is that? $20 million. All right, well, Yahoo. Man, I love talking about Yahoo, don't I? Yahoo is reportedly under investigation by the United States financial watchdog for whether the company took too long to notify investors of 2 massive data breaches involving the details of 1.5 billion users. That's right. An investigation has been opened by the Securities and Exchange Commission into whether the internet company complied with civil securities laws that require companies to disclose cybersecurity risk as soon as they are deemed to have an effect on investors. It's going down right now. Let's see what happens with Verizon. I looked it up the other day. Yahoo's still like number 6. I was shocked. But yeah, I did the old Alexa search on Yahoo. They're still cruising strong at like number 6. Well, after apparently being hacked, and this is the trend now, folks, a Twitter account belonging to the New York Times, okay, this was a hacked tweet, reported that Russia intended to launch a missile attack against the United States. The newspaper is investigating the situation right now as I speak, and the hacked tweet affected the New York Times video account at New York Times Video, NYT Video, which tweeted out the hoax on Sunday at around 9:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, citing a leaked statement from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Of course, it was deleted and retractions were done, but the trend is here. Hacking Twitter accounts. And now, it brings up thoughts of Donald Trump, POTUS. Could that be next? Been waiting for it to happen. I really have. I have been waiting for it to happen. Well, in a strange moment of startling symmetry with the current state of American politics, last week, C-SPAN, the public affairs network that regularly broadcasts proceedings of the House of Representatives and the Senate, was interrupted by a broadcast of Russia Today. Yeah, man. And I've seen it, too. And it's trippy to watch. The state-funded Russian news network briefly took over the online feed of C-SPAN 1, which had been broadcasting a discussion in Congress. You should see this. It's crazy. Regarding the Securities and Exchange Commission Regulatory Accountability Act. Now, as Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat here in California, everybody knows Maxine, was speaking, the feed suddenly cut from the House floor to a broadcast of RT. Some things you just can't make up. I'm not making this up. You need to watch it. The feed cut in with a commercial break before returning to the RT news desk, where an anchor spoke of a suicide bombing. The takeover itself lasted about 10 minutes before the C-SPAN feed returned. The interruption does not appear on the saved broadcast hosted on the network's website. And it's so bizarre to watch. You can go and you can pick this up and go and watch it. There's Maxine, right? And it's C-SPAN. That's the thing. C-SPAN, where there are lack of commercials, right? And then all of a sudden it breaks to this commercial. It's like, wait a minute. It was right. She's doing her thing. And as the commercials go through and you start to see that these aren't really commercials that you would normally see on C-SPAN, whatever that may be, then it cuts to RT. RT. Now, this is where, for me, things get a little bit suspect. With all of the talk about Russian hacking and the interference with our government over here, no matter what, it doesn't matter. But with all of that talk, and then this happens on C-SPAN of all channels, and the interruption is nonetheless RT. Now, you have to ask yourself here, was it a hack, and was it intentional, or was it a mistake? Did somebody accidentally click, somebody running the website, happen to somehow click on the RT feed and get that into the C-SPAN feed? Now, it's a strange accident, right? It could happen, I guess. But it seems to me if it wasn't hacked, if it was done on the C-SPAN side of things, then you have somebody that has to click a few times and has to intentionally inject this. It's not about tripping over a cable or accidentally flipping a switch. But my friends, it really did happen. And with that, this concludes another episode of Fade to Black. I want to thank Kelly, Sullivan, Walden. Great conversation tonight. Like I said, a show like that causes you to go into another reality. You start thinking about dreams, things from times gone past. It's fun. And she is the best. Go and check her out at the Conscious Life Expo, along with yours truly. Links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovra, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Tomorrow night, right here, Anthony F. Sanchez. We're going to talk ancient texts, ancient religious texts, lost civilizations, lost history, and E.T. What does it mean to us today? That is tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, or copied, used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black of the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.